Hey there, it's Selma. Today I'm going to walk you through my part 1 and 2 for these databases for my Shopify and Kook Hotel. I'm going to demonstrate how I created, tested, and documented these stored procedures for the guests, extra services, customers, and sales details tables. So let's get started. I'm also going to highlight what fields are auto-numbered, why it's important for data integrity, and I'm also going to show how I inserted data, tested my foreign key constraints, and enforced referential integrity. So let's get started. So first here we have the guest table. The guest ID is a primary key and is set as an identity column, which means it's auto-numbered. This means that SQL is automatically going to assign a unique number for each new guest. Auto-numbering here is important because guest records need a guaranteed unique identifier even if two guests share the same name. Other fields such as first name, guest last name, full name, contact info, and other things like that are here as different data types. Varchar is for characters, numeric is for numbers, integer is numbers, date, time, all very important when saving data and storing information. Let's look at this stored procedure that I created to add a guest. So this is for the Kook Hotel guest table. This procedure will insert new guest records. I tested it by adding different guests, including myself and other people that I think would stay at this hotel. And you can see that guest ID values were generated automatically, which is going to remove the chance of human error when assigning IDs. So over here we can see that Kook Hotel, these are the parameters they used as begin. So if any of these exists where guest equals first name, last name equals last name, full name equals full name, we're going to create an insert statement where it'll insert these parameters into my insert statement. And then here's what executing this stored procedure once it's created will look like. So executing these 4 things. And I could show as an example here. So for example, Kennedy McConnell, full name Kennedy McConnell. For contact information, her number of days total, because it's a metric, so it's automatically going to be put in when needed. That's null. All right, and that is my guests for the Kook Hotel. Next, we have extra services for the Kook Hotel. So I started again by creating it. I made service ID the primary key and also an identity column that's also auto-numbered. This will ensure that each service is like horseback riding, cooking classes, personal training, has a unique identifier automatically. And I want to reiterate again, auto-numbering is important here because services may have similar names and IDs, and this will ensure that they can be referenced unambiguously in future reservations or billing systems. Other fields includes things like service name, description, price, availability, service hours, and char 50, 100, numeric 80, bit, which means true or false, and char 100. I ended up creating a stored procedure called, right here, it's called add extra service for the Kook Hotel. This procedure allowed me to insert new services into the table, and I tested it with examples such as what I said, like horseback riding, personal training, cooking, and the service ID values were generated automatically, which confirms integrity and uniqueness. So here is the procedure that I used to execute after I made the stored procedure: service name, description, price, availability, service hours. And then once that is executed, it'll look a little something like this. So for example, service ID 1, service name horseback riding, description horses, it's $50, it's available, and it'll take about 6 hours. Wonderful. All right. And next we have for part 1 of my Shopify account, my customer tables and stored procedures. So I created my customer table. The customer ID is the primary key and is set as an identity column, which also means it's auto-numbered. This is important because customers should not have duplicate IDs, and auto-numbering guarantees every new record is unique. And if 2 people happen to share the same name, they'll still have that unique customer ID to keep their records distinct. This table also includes other important information like first name, last name, full name, excuse me, and other important details. So then let's check out this stored procedure. I struggled a little bit making it into the PDF. So let's go on here. All right. So to save a new customer, here is my stored procedure. Same thing as last time. Alter procedure. It has my parameters first, last, first contact, street, address, city, and state, and I put each parameter that I want to put in each data type. So I declared that the beginning number customers is an integer, same with ending number customers, where first name equals first name, last name equals first name, and I created these print inserts. So begin print, already have customer with that name if somebody does a repeat. So this is just helping not put garbage data into this database, so there's no repeats and everything is unique and identifiable. So I did this with if first name equals first name, last name equals first name, and it's a repeat, already have customer with that name. If that doesn't exist, create a column for the customers where first name equals first name. So this is creating a new one where beginning number customers is counting from the above from the customers table. So just auto numbering things we've already discussed. These are the list of columns to enter in the user supplied values. So first name, last name, the things I've already explained. Then I have my list of values below. I am setting these as above for the customer table and if ending. So if this happens again, this will print that the customer was added, the current number of customers, and then it'll add from the null. So not from the null, but from the auto number rated. That is the auto number that's generated. So that is my stored procedure for customers. So let's see how that looks on an execute statement. It's on here. On an execute statement, it'll look the same. It'll look the same as here, but instead of service name, description, price, availability, and service hours, it's going to say first name, last name, state, zip code, and contact information, the things that I was explaining above. And then how it's going to execute is going to look like this. So after I put in, so my execute statement will have this information, and then it'll auto number. So customer ID 1, me, Selma Abraham, full name Selma Abraham. My first contact date was September 1st. That's my street address, my city, my state, and then the rest, my last purchase, my first purchase, etc. And yeah, so that is my customer table. So let's get started into the sales details, the last thing. So, all right. Let's start right here. I finally built my sales details table. Unlike these other tables, sales ID is not an identity column, and this is intentional. I instead created a composite primary key made up of the sales ID and product ID. This design is important because it ensures that the same product cannot appear more than once on the same invoice, and at the same time, multiple products can be associated with one sales ID, like items on a receipt. I also created foreign keys, so category ID references the customers table, and product ID references the products table. I didn't mean customer ID, I meant sales ID. The customers table, product ID references products table. This will enforce referential integrity, meaning you cannot sell a bogus customer or use a product that doesn't exist in the products table. I also then created my stored procedure. Not that one, here. It's called save a line item. So if we go through here, this procedure inserts new sale items when enforcing those constraints, and I tested it with valid data, which inserted correctly, and also with bogus IDs, which triggered the expected error messages. For example, I declared these. So for new sale must be true or false only. So if I put some other thing, or if I put medium, that wouldn't go, and it would print must be true or false only. Same with customer ID. Same with checking if the customer ID is valid, and if the customer ID isn't, then program will stop. If product ID is valid, then the product will stop. I did a lot of if statements here. This helped make sure there was no bogus, as I said. Program stocked for no stock, insufficient stock. And then I did set statements where product name equals, you were getting products from the product table, where product ID equals product ID. I'm declaring the count before is an integer, so I'm counting from the selected above and taking it from the new sales details table. And then I inserted an insert statement, which included all the things that I want to insert if I wanted it to execute. Same with values, more if statements, more parameters where if statements or if something doesn't work to make sure that no bogus data is put, and then I ended the procedure. It's not that. Let's find that execute procedure. I realized that I can't screenshot and put everything in order for some reason. So then, oh, this was my execute for save a new customer. I didn't show that at the beginning. Where's my execute sales details? Okay. Well, I don't want to waste more time, but my execute sales details is going to look significantly alike to this, just with the parameters that I'm going to show here. So it'll show sale ID, product ID, customer ID, product name, units, sales ID, line total, invoice, day of the month, day of the week, week of the year, month name, and all of these are very important because this is an employee facing system. So after using my stored procedure and my execute procedure, this is what it's going to turn out like. So for example, my first product, sales ID 1, product ID, customer ID 1, red slippers, size 9, 1 unit, it's $750, line total $750, the invoice date 9/1, so this is referencing mine. I got it on on 1 day of the month, 2nd day of the week, number 2, on a Monday, week of the year 36, month number 9, so September 1st in the year. And that explains my sales details. So to recap, the guest extra services and customers tables all use auto numbering for their primary keys, which is important because it guarantees each new record as a unique identifier while relying on user input, preventing duplicates, and ensuring data integrity. The sales details table does not use auto numbering for sales ID. Instead, it relies on a composite primary key of sales ID and product ID. This design prevents duplicate product entries on the same invoice and ensures proper one-to-many relationships. All stored procedures were tested with both valid and invalid data to confirm it works. These results confirm that auto numbering, referential integrity, and composite keys all work together to maintain data quality. And this demonstrates my examples for part 1 and part 2 of assignment 3. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you later.